Welcome, everybody, to the Jurassic Wire. I am Brad Jost, and my co-anchor for this program is Aaron Beyer. The Jurassic Wire is the segment here on the Jurassic Park Podcast where we discuss all the latest news on the Jurassic saga and the latest conversations in the Jurassic community. Today, we're going to be chatting about continuing the Jurassic franchise. Is there any room? Is there any growth? Is it unfranchisable? Whatever he wants to say. Colin talked about it, and we're going to take a look. Plus, we're going to talk about collecting in the post-Jurassic World Dominion world. So I'm interested to get into these topics. We're going to maybe do a shorter version, I guess, here tonight. But let's welcome in Aaron. What's going on, dude? We just talked to you in the gift guide, but we're back.
It's okay that we're got short wires now because there's no content anymore. So it's okay, Brad. We don't have to talk for 5 hours about all the latest stuff because there's not that much.
There's plenty of things out there, but not everything is like wire worthy, I guess you could say, right? Like there's some things that we can just skip over that we don't have to get into too much detail about every little thing. But I think with these two items that we've got here today, talking about the future of the franchise and what we're supposed to be doing as collectors, I think those are two hot topics. And yeah, maybe, I don't know when this article came out, September. So it's been out there for a while, but it's still, I think, worthy of talking about because, like I said, we don't really get the chance to talk about this stuff too much. So it's good that we have the Wire sticking around. We didn't get rid of it, but now we're doing it every other month or whatever it is. So we're here to talk about these two items alone. And are you excited to get into them? How are you feeling about Jurassic these days?
Here's the thing. I'm happy to have let it kind of like just phased for a bit. Like I'm down to have just kind of a break, not needing to know, especially because Dominion's lead-in was so long, like 4 years long. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I'm happy to let this one kind of just phase by, still enjoy Jurassic, still enjoy the podcast, still enjoy the community around it. But I'm happy to kind of like let DC come in and surprise me. Like I saw Black Adam. It's not a masterpiece, but it is fun. It is good. And I'm very excited for the future of DC. I don't even care about the quality anymore. Like I'm so excited about the future of DC based off that movie. So like, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to look forward to right now. I feel like you've got DC ramping up again, and getting James Gunn out there to maybe right the ship a little bit, see what he can do. Future movies that are very exciting to look forward to. I've been watching. I'm like still catching up on like the Lord of the Rings TV show, and I'm like, I have one episode left, and I'm like, this show is incredible,
right?
Like so well made, so beautiful. It looks like you can see every dollar on that screen, and I'm like, it's recapturing that Lord of the Rings love for me. Which is weird. I feel like these two franchises tie in so well for me because like Jurassic was everything for me for so long, and then 2001 came along, and that's where like JP3 kind of like phased things out for me a little bit, but then the Lord of the Rings comes in and phases back in. So then I was like obsessed with those movies for several years, and then Jurassic comes back eventually, and now Lord of the Rings is back again. There were the Hobbit movies, of course, too, but yeah, I really dig that TV show. It's so good. I can't believe it.
I've also been enjoying other franchises, right? Like if you've been following The Wire for like the last few years, like you'll remember that like behind me was like literally all the characters of like Endgame, right? Yeah. Like in 1/6 scale form. It was like they were all going to war against Thanos. But like now it's like, I've got the Snyder Justice League minus Cyborg who's coming. I've got the basic 6 Avengers, and I've got like other things that I enjoy back there. Like I've got a T-Rex on an Explorer. I've got the crew from Final Fantasy VII and I guess 7 remake, right? Like I'm excited for 7 remake part 2. I'm excited for this Crisis Core remake that's coming out in the next month or two. I think it's like December, right? I think, what else do I got back there? Like, I've got like E.T. I've got more Superman stuff because Superman is awesome. And I mean, look, we want to continue this franchise. Can we get Henry Cavill to come
Yeah.
to this franchise?
Do anything.
I mean,
that'd be
look,
super.
We lost him in The Witcher. All right. But if he wants to come to Jurassic, I'll forgive him for ditching The Witcher. Okay.
That's a whole thing. Yeah, that's a whole thing. Ugh.
Dude, Henry Cavill as Jaws Jackson, Dwayne Johnson as Harpoon Harrison. Who's T-Rex
God.
Turner? Who's T-Rex Turner?
I don't even know. Like Ed Harris or something, just like completely like weird choice, but amazing. Like I want to see like,
we did it.
See that like. That's what I think we said this at some other point in time, but we were talking about like, I think maybe you were here. We were talking about like the chaos effect line and stuff like that, and bringing that to life in like a crazy wild animated series and stuff like that. And I think this could be like, if we take Jurassic in like a wild route and just go with some weird and crazy concepts and fun designs and some like truly like huge stars, that could be interesting. It would be very different than Jurassic Park, right? It's a different thing altogether, but it would be really fun.
Henry Cavill is Jaws Jackson. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's it. I'm gonna get this. It's gonna be a Twitter campaign. It's gonna be a thing.
Okay.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome, man. All right.
Yeah, there's just too much to watch. Andor is probably one of the best made things ever. Been watching that.
I haven't seen it yet, dude.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible. It is so tense and thrilling. So there's been so many things like just occupying my time, I feel like. Halloween was just here and I was obsessed with that and going to horror nights and all that stuff. So there's been so many things to like focus on that like the lack of Jurassic hasn't really bugged me all that much. There's been plenty to collect and plenty to look at. But I feel like it's kind of talked out for a little while, but
you know what's nice is like you and I used to talk a lot, right? Between episodes. Cause I think when I first started the show, it was really like I didn't have a set time. It was just like, I was on sporadically. And then like you and I were like talking via Slack, like, just kind of all the time pitching ideas and talking about ideas. Then we moved to like the monthly segment where you and I would kind of like talk for like a few days leading up. I would completely forget all about it, and you would like plan the whole thing. And then like we would talk on that night, and then we would like kind of go our way for the month, right? And what I'm enjoying about this now is like I talk to you probably a couple times a week, right? Via our chat, right? And I talk to you, we do the show every like 60 days. But what I like about what's happening now is that like I feel like, and you could totally tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like Jurassic I'm happy for you because I feel like it's kind of consuming you less and you're enjoying like more time with like your family and kind of really like what's more important than Jurassic. So, I've been enjoying it too, man. Like, I moved home ish closer to my wife's family and it's been nice, like not having to think about the stuff I was thinking about constantly when I was in my prison cell in Toronto. So, it's
a much different time, right? It's like different places, different things to think about. And we're in this state of flux, right? We don't really know, like we've got ideas about where they're going with things and they continue to talk about it. Frank talked about it a long time ago that this is like a new era or whatever like that. We didn't really know what that meant at the time. I'm not sure we do now. But we're and I actually did a live stream the other day where I was talking about everything that's coming up or everything that's planned. And there's quite a bit still on the horizon. The live tour is still out there kicking. Finally, it kicked off again and it's going to be going until April. At least, that's what the tour dates say on the website right now, but they will expand that, I'm sure. The live, the exhibition is seemingly, well, I think they've got 2 operating things right now, if I'm correct. It's in San Diego right now, so that's going into April as well. It's in Japan, or no, it's going to be in Japan in the spring. It's in London, which is currently right now, and that's going to be until January. So we also have that escape room that's coming to Universal Studios in Orlando. Camp Cretaceous has got a short thing coming out soon. There's actually a video game coming, a Funko video game, which has maybe some Jurassic dinosaurs and some other things in there. So that sounds pretty cool.
That's cool.
Switch, that Jurassic World Aftermath is coming up again, and that's going to be open to a huge new audience on the Nintendo Switch, and for $500 something, whatever, you can play it on the PSVR.
Is it?
Yeah,
is it for sure happening on PSVR too?
Yeah, it's going to be on there too.
I mean, you could go spend $550 on a PSVR 2, which was more than, if you have a digital PS5 like I do, more than a PS5. What insane world do we live in right now? Like,
I don't know.
The peripheral is more money than the box.
Yeah. Oh, but that sounded like a motorcycle takeoff.
Oh yeah. Sorry, man. Windows got to be open.
But there's a lot of stuff at least coming out and on the horizon. Things to do, things to attend, things to collect, like JP30, and we'll talk about some of that stuff later on in the second half. But but there's a lot of things happening. So Jurassic's not dead. It just feels like it's in this like kind of lull right now, right, where we don't have anything like truly big announced. But Colin was out there recently talking about the future of Jurassic, and he was talking with Empire Magazine. And I said this before a bunch of times, but and we probably talked about it as well with that whole Malta event thing that was just like a weird whatever it was. Like they actually did come out with some more information from Malta. This was from Malta, this Empire article here that Colin talked with them down there. And I always assumed that event would be something to help promote future franchises, future movies or whatever. And it's kind of what happened. I don't know if more will come. Who knows? But they talked about some other interesting stuff, which I wanted to talk about here with you, because they talk about, or Colin talks about, changing the DNA of the franchise, how the franchise is technically unfranchisable or whatever. And I want to talk to you about that as well, because I think there's some interesting stuff there. And potentially like continuing it and stuff like that. But let's start off here at the beginning. Colin had talked about I specifically did something different than the other films in order to change the DNA of the franchise. Do you think he changed the DNA of the franchise with what he did in this movie? Do you think it's like a different step?
I think what he goes on to say is kind of bull. Like, he says the other 5 movies are dinosaur movies with humans, and my 6th movie is a human story with dinosaurs. And I'm sorry, I beg to differ. In a 2-hour and 7-minute Jurassic Park, there's like maybe 10 minutes of dinosaurs in like the whole thing. Maybe 20 minutes. All right. That movie is a human story with dinosaurs interacting with humans. Now, I can see where he's saying about Jurassic Park 3, but I also think that The Lost World is a completely justifiable and relevant sequel. Like, more so than I think Jurassic World is a, quote, sequel to Jurassic Park. Like, I read an article. Man, I wish I had it. It was such a good article, but it talks about, like, what is a sequel and why should you make a sequel, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, the reason to make a sequel is there more? The first question is there more to this story? And I think The Lost World answers that question. Yes, there is more to this story, right? It might not be a lot more. It might not be groundbreaking, but there is more to the story of Jurassic Park. And I think both Crichton and Spielberg justify their sequels in that way. The other part of is there a sequel is, can we do something that is not just a rehash of the first one? And again, I think The Lost World in both Crichton and Spielberg, I think those are I think The Lost World again does something different than what Jurassic Park did. It was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's still dinosaurs run amok, like, right, and that's the through line. But Jurassic or The Lost World is not so much of a let's go ooh and ah. Their rescue mission. They're both rescue mission stories. Jurassic Park 3 is a rescue mission story, which I like couldn't believe they did that right after The Lost World. I was like, really? Like you and that was like the first thing that like set me off after the slashing 3 and the horrible intro with no dinosaurs. And like I was like, wait, you're just doing another rescue mission? Like what? Like to me, like Jurassic Park 3 is not a justifiable sequel because it doesn't do anything new. The story didn't need to be told, and I mean, those are like the two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like to say it's unfranchisable, maybe not in a Marvel way, right? But surely I think Jurassic Park deserved its sequel.
Yeah, I feel like you've said this before though. He does move on there saying because it's inherently unfranchisable, there probably should have only been one Jurassic Park. I feel like I've heard you say that a lot on this show. That like, hey, it could have just been one story. That was maybe what it should have been.
I mean,
But
I'm not
you
saying that
know,
it's not like if you handed me the keys right now to the Jurassic Park franchise, I'm not giving you more Jurassic World. If you handed me the keys right now, I'm rebooting the whole thing and I'm turning Jurassic Park into like 2 movies and then I'm doing The Lost World. I'm doing like a Lord of the Rings thing with it. And we're going to cover those stories and then we're just going to leave it be, right? So like in my mind, the 2 stories are still really like the necessary parts to all of this. Now, hindsight's 2020. I think if I were handed the keys 10 years ago, and I didn't think of this idea before I saw Jurassic World, but I think Jurassic World should have been, rather than an island, right? Rather than kind of redoing Jurassic Park, I think Jurassic World should have been, there are multiple Jurassic Parks around the world, all with different dinosaurs, right? Kind of enticing you to
yeah,
go to each different location. And then you have like a web attack or something that takes down the security of all of these parks. Now, what does that do? I mean, again, I didn't come up with this like beforehand, so I'm not like patting myself on the back that I had a better idea. I came up with this after Jurassic World, right? But like, I think what that does is that it automatically puts dinosaurs on the mainland around the world, different species. Okay, it gets all the dinosaurs out onto the mainland in the first movie. So you eliminate Fallen Kingdom and you jump to what I thought Dominion was going to be, which is dinosaurs all around the world. Instead of like, we're still stuck in this mode of like all the dinosaurs we see around the world, for the most part, up until Dominion, are like nublar dinosaurs and variations on those nublar dinosaurs. So I mean, I guess if that's how I were to manage the series, that's how I would do it. I don't know if it's unfranchisable. I think there's different ways of. Every Jurassic movie is like the Avengers. Every Jurassic movie has all the same dinosaurs with a few new ones sprinkled in. And I think the idea of having different dinosaurs in different locations allows you to tell a new Jurassic movie with a whole different cast of dinosaurs. And we understand that this one doesn't have the T-Rex because the T-Rex was in the North American park, where maybe now we're at the China park or something, or we're at the China location where that housed different species altogether.
yeah.
Sorry, that was a very long-winded answer. Did I answer your question?
I don't even know what I asked at
I
this
don't
point.
know.
No, but yeah, it's interesting. Jurassic Park was just one book, right? It was supposed to be one
Right.
book, and then Michael Crichton kind of got coaxed into making another one, and then Steven kind of didn't even do really what was
That
in
one,
that book.
Justice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think of it as unfranchisable in any way. I don't feel like it's any different than anything else. It had its self-contained story, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other stories to discuss and talk about. So I don't even
Yeah,
know where
but
he's going with that. But
I feel like when he
really,
thinks of a franchise, he's thinking like Marvel, which is, yeah, they're all superhero movies, but each superhero does have its core element, right? Black Panther's got the suit with the claws, and Iron Man's got the suit with the guns, and Captain America has the strength, and uh, you know,
yeah, but that's
uh,
you could just say that same thing, but with dinosaurs. Like the Spinosaurus
but
has got the long snout and the spine, and the T Rex got the big
yeah, but they
jaws,
don't
and
all come
you know.
together. They don't come together eventually, or like they're always like in the same movie. It's like I said, every Jurassic
Tell that to
movie
the
is
end
like
of every
the
Jurassic World
Avengers.
movie.
Tell what?
Tell that to the end of every Jurassic World movie where they all come
Yeah,
together to fight something.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
But I don't know. I feel like that's just such a weird statement. I get the statement that there should have only been one Jurassic Park. Everybody's kind of been twisting that out of proportion, right? And saying like the director of the latest Jurassic World trilogy admits there should have only been one, and none of his
No,
sequels should have existed.
that's
That's
not
not.
what
I
he's
don't think that's
saying.
not what
That's
he's
not what he's
saying.
saying. No, it's not what he's saying. He's
Yeah.
he's basically getting at like, look, he knows that he took it up basically now in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And kind of did the comic booky adaptation of Jurassic. But like it's like if there was an ET sequel. Can ET have a sequel? Yes. Should ET get a sequel? No. Like it's such a
ET
good wholesome story on its own.
ET got a great sequel, actually. It's called ET The Ride in Universal. So
Okay.
you get to
I,
go to ET's home planet and
I don't deny
help
that's a
save the
great
planet.
ride, but all right, whatever. Whatever, Brad. I get you.
Yeah, look, I think that there are plenty of stories to tell and plenty of reasons to call this a franchise. So I'm not really sure what that means and entails. But what you're saying, you could have like made this into, I think, more of a franchise in a way where you're expanding out to all these different places, like you mentioned. That would have been a really cool way to tackle it right off the bat. I think I proposed in one episode, I don't know when it was, but I had talked about like not actually having the downfall be in the first movie or something like that. And I think that would have been a great way to do it, is if whatever happened with the Indominus Rex or whatever happened behind the scenes and it didn't actually, affect the park goers or anything. So that way you could reopen the park. And I think that would have been a cool way to go. And maybe the sequel would have started with an open park and maybe a volcano goes off. But I think, there could have been different ways to tell this story. We can, come up with 1,000 different ideas of how it should have gone.
I guess
But
I guess where I take kind of argument to what he says is like over and over again. And as I was never tired of the island, like ever. Um but now I feel like it's like, okay, so now what? Every movie after this is just on the mainland? Like I don't see the difference between going to an island constantly or now dinosaurs are constantly on the mainland, especially when Dominion, like I know, like, whatever, this was a movie about dinosaurs in our world. No, it wasn't. Like this Dominion was a movie about going to a secluded area with dinosaurs, and it was about the trip there, which happened to have dinosaurs. But the big the big center point of Dominion was a remote piece of land in the middle of nothing that had dinosaurs. And then you throw in this idea that you can like tell the dinosaurs where to go. So like the brain chip solves the Jurassic Park problem. Like you can easily reopen Jurassic Park now. If a dinosaur gets out, you just go and it like, oh, okay, like I'll go back into my cage because I've got a brain chip that nudges me this direction. Like
yeah.
I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I
I
don't,
mean,
I
if
don't
you
know.
if you watch Camp Cretaceous, yeah, there is absolutely no reason for them not to open a new park after this. I mean, it might be boring. You just have a dinosaur that like will just sit there and like look horrified and not move, because that's what happens
And
in
then
that show.
turn around and go back. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think there are plenty of ways for this to be a franchise and continue on and build out this world. And you had said you had made mention of the island and stuff, and yeah, he does talk about like, what are we gonna do? Like, just keep telling stories on this island? Like, no. I think there could have been more, and I definitely I feel like a lot of people think there could be more on the islands
Yeah,
themselves.
1000%.
I mean, I even looked at Fallen Kingdom. I'm like, there's no way that island's dead. Like, there's definitely still dinosaurs there. There's no way that volcano took out everything. But then, like, there's still stories in the past that we want to hear. There's still stuff about Sorna we want to hear. So all of these stories, Jurassic fans just kind of want things on an island. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't know.
There's something dangerous about going somewhere where you're not home or comfortable. Look, if a T-Rex right now, if they were like, hey, there's a T-Rex heading down the street in wherever I'm at, right? I would feel safe. I'd be like, well, the odds are in my favor. I've got like 100 neighbors around here. Like I feel all right, you know. But like when you're on an island,
Yeah.
you're on their territory, right? Like you are on a remote island. You don't have your cell phone. You don't have the reception. You don't have food. You don't have water. Like you're on their territory. Yeah, I don't know. Again, dinosaurs on the mainland don't. I'm not afraid of them. Not in the
Yeah,
least.
because it's so big, we could just get in our car and drive away. Like, and then
Right.
then it's over. Like that's it. But like, if we're on an island, like, is there a car around? Is there somewhere for us to hide? The cool thing about both of those islands was that you went back in time. You went to a place that you felt like you were 65 million years ago, and they just so happened to build a visitor center there or whatever, set up
Right.
some fencing, and it just felt like a prehistoric place. And I don't think I don't know. I mean, if they had made 6 movies on an island, would we be sick of it? I mean, they almost did, I guess.
I mean, not any more sick of it than than I am now. Now, my question to you is, if they continue, what do you want? I kind of said what I want, but I'm curious, like, what would you do with it if you were given let's say the next set of movies, right? The next era. How are you relaunching Jurassic with the existing Jurassic Parks fully intact? The existing 6 movies. What are you doing next?
Well, I think I had said this before, but I want I want to see all those cast of characters, like Jake Johnson coming back. I want to see him coming back, and I want to see Franklin. I'm mixing real names and fake names. Justice Smith and Zia and Barry. I want to see all these people coming back because like they set up this what was it, FBI, CIA, whatever it was. Like they set up this group, this task force that exists out there. I want to see that one guy that was part of the bad guy team, but then wasn't a bad guy. He was undercover. Like I want to see all of them, like, do their thing in future movies. I think that would be really cool. And or TV show. I think that would probably be best suited for like a TV show of some sort. I think that would be pretty cool. But there is some more information here. Colin does say that there's more to come. He makes mention of this movie clearly takes real interest in creating new characters with a new generation that's going to latch onto. Kayla Watts, DeWanda Wise, Mamadou Eche, Ramsey Cole, and who I think in the extended edition, blah, 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 Deachin Lockman, Soyono Santos. So, and he mentions that she gets arrested at the end. There's more to come. So I feel like he's very clearly stating those characters and then saying there's more to come. I definitely think that that's probably where they're going to be going, right? That's why I always assumed that this Malta press conference thing would be announcing, hey, more movies here set in Malta in the Jurassic franchise. That could have been really cool. I think that could be like a fun new approach, and you know, you have these characters that you've set up that are pretty great characters, and then she's arrested at the end, Soyona Santos, but that doesn't mean she didn't break out. You know, like, you know, let's do a story where we're tracking her down. That would be cool.
You're talking about this though as if like anybody. The problem with what he did with bringing in characters is like these characters have no expectations. Therefore, it was kind of like, why learn? They were just like side characters. So like with Marvel, when you get a new character that's like, oh, we're gonna move on, like this character is gonna get their story. It's usually a character that like you have some familiarity with tangentially, like slightly, right? Like we're getting 2 new characters in Black Panther that are not part of like the Black Panther storyline. We're getting 2 new characters that like tangentially you're like, oh, that's the next yada yada, and that's this character that's kind of like the character from DC. You know, I won't. If you haven't seen if you see the trailer, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
I know exactly
like,
what you're talking about with both those things.
But it's like you get excited because you're like, oh, I have a new version of this thing I loved, and I have this character that Marvel hasn't like really had a character like this before, and like clearly this character is part of the bigger role. Whereas like when you go into like you're talking about all these other characters, right, that he's listed. I could care less about any of these characters except for Kayla. And why Kayla? Because she was given plenty of screen time. And what I've said here before, I think she was almost like the only one who cared that she had a job during the pandemic. Like, I felt like she was the only one not phoning in her performance in Dominion.
I don't know.
So, like,
I really enjoyed, you know, Ramsey as a character too. I thought Ramsey was a great character, and not
I
a
guess.
ton
I mean,
of,
to each their own. I didn't care for it.
Like not a ton of story for that character specifically, right? It was just like this character is buddies with Dodgson, but then kind of backstabs him a little bit, but you never really saw him flip. You know, like the flip happened some other time. You know, him going from like, employee to somebody who's like, I gotta get out of this. But I appreciate that character, and I think like if you look back to like, I don't know, look back to Jurassic Park, and there was not a ton there. You know, there was not a ton for those characters. You had 2 characters that were digging in the dirt, and that's all you knew about them.
I also didn't leave Jurassic Park going like, I gotta have more. I guess I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, yeah. I mean, again, like I was totally Jurassic Park ended, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm totally fine. Like I didn't leave going like, man, I need another movie with Alan Grant, or man, I need another movie with Ellie or Ian. Like they were characters, they had their jobs. It's just that like when you're watching the Black Panther trailer and you see a metal heart drop onto the floor, it's like Marvel's telling you what to get excited for. Right?
Yeah.
You see a man from the water, Marvel's telling you what to get excited for. I look at Ramsey and I'm like, okay, like what am I? And I look at Ramsey and then Colin Trevorrow tells me, be excited for Ramsey. And I'm like, why? Like,
yeah, Ramsey,
like, I don't understand his story.
Yeah. Ramsey didn't really have a great skill set shown off in the film, right? Kayla, like she came in and flew the plane. She's pretty tough. She can take care of her own. Like she's a great character that's pretty well-rounded.
She's a Han Solo character.
Yeah. But
which
Ramsey,
really we've never had a Han Solo character, and so like now that we have one, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I mean, look, she's a pirate, she's a thief, she's got her plane. I mean, we could give her a sidekick, I guess, but like I am all for a Kayla movie, 1,000%.
Yeah, Ramsey's like kind of like a more expanded on Lowry or something like that. Like he had more of a role, I think, than Lowry had, but it's like a similar thing. So like, is he just absorbed into that CIA or whatever they were, like, you know,
Yeah, maybe.
because I don't know what else his role would be. Like, yeah, sure. I think everybody had pretty defined roles in the past movies. Alan Grant and Ellie had defined roles, right? You didn't really know a ton about them or didn't need to. Ian, he had a pretty defined role. So I liked when we got to expand on them as characters, and like, especially in the sequels, Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, you really get to learn more about them and their backstory and who they are as people. So maybe that could be the same here for Ramsey. Maybe we could dive into who he is, his family, or something like. Give us some reason to care about the character. I'm open to that for sure. I think I really dug what he did. I liked him as a character, but I can see that he really didn't have a huge impact on the story, you know, for me. Like, I don't really know what he did that was so super important that couldn't have been done without him, you know.
Now, if you're talking about character dynamics, I feel like a Ramsey and Kayla team up movie where they're partners, I feel like their dynamic is like, you know, he was kind of serious and very like respectful of the animals, and like he wanted the best for them, right? So he was doing this undercover stuff, and I feel like she's kind of a guns blazing, smart mouthy, smarmy character. So like maybe those two together, you know, are just a really good combo. But again, I know why I'm excited for Kayla. I don't know why I would be excited for any of these other characters. Again, prove me wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
He would be just the Franklin to the Zia at that point. Like, he's just like there to be comical, or just to be something different than Kayla. Yeah, the information. Like, whatever movie whatever they end up doing, I'm sure there's going to be a reason for him to exist, but like I'm just having a hard time coming up with that right off the bat here. But at least tracking down somebody like Soyono Santos could be a fun story. Trying to get to her, and I don't know what she would be doing. Like, why would she? Because she seemed like a fairly reasonable person. I don't know. Like, she did kind of want to just kill all those people with the Atrociraptors, but at the same time, she's like, she really gave up the information really quickly to Claire. I don't know if you remember, but like, she's like, God, it was just Biosyn. Get off. Like, I don't want to fight. But then, like, then I don't know. I guess she got arrested at the end. But yeah, I
if
could
you're
see
gonna get her arrested, I feel like if you're gonna make another movie with her, why would you arrest her? Why would you not like show her getting away?
That's why I see it as Fast 4 or whatever movie it was. You remember Dominic Toretto's arrested. He's in the prison bus, and then the prison bus flips down the hill, and then he gets out or whatever, and they save him. Could have him be like that.
Does she meet Dwayne Johnson as Harpoon Harrison in prison?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah.
1,000% on board. And they prison break, and he's like, we got to get the team together. And he goes and he gets Ed Harris and Henry Cavill, and
Henry
Cavill go dino tracking.
I just want him to have a mustache, though. Does that throw the character off its trail? Or
who?
What?
Which one?
Henry Cavill. Like,
with a mustache?
He looks pretty sick with the mustache, you know?
No, who cares? As long as he's got his giant trap on his back, like, it's fine.
Yeah, look, this could be the setup of the Thunderbolts or something like that, right? Like, you have, you know, Soyono Santos is like the what's her name, the Val of the crew or whatever.
This is my Jurassic nightmare. Like, the franchise going more and more into Fast and Furious. Like, it is my nightmare.
I know.
But every time I talk about things that I would be excited for, it's this cheesy garbage that I despise. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe I got a problem.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They definitely won't go in that silly route, but hey, people would say that the route that they've been in is silly, you know, so who knows,
right?
But I would be happy to see more of those characters. You know me, I kind of wanted to see like people tracking down stories, you know, in the mainland, and just going on that supernatural style trail, you know, and tracking down all the dinosaurs and the interactions, meeting with people, discussing what happened. I think it would be pretty cool. But
Can
this would be a different route, I think.
at this stage, each one of these movies has to make $1 billion, right? Like that's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Can
feel like it.
Jurassic go smaller? Like, can Jurassic do a movie about a velociraptor that's haunting a town? Can Jurassic do a movie about hunting the mosasaur out at sea? Like, I don't know if Jurassic can change in the sense that Jurassic has to now have 1,000 dinosaurs running across the screen at any given point because it has to make $1 billion. Like, can you instead of a Jurassic movie every 3 years, can you do 2 smaller budget Jurassic movies every year? Like, can you do 1 a year to make that money? Like, I don't know. And I'm kind of worried about the future in that sense. Like, I don't need every Jurassic movie to be the Super Bowl of dinosaur movies, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I would have said that stuff like Disney Plus was or would have been an influence on Jurassic, but it doesn't seem to have been. You know,
No.
we've never got any TV show outside of Camp Cretaceous, but that wasn't influenced by any of that stuff. That was just, the DreamWorks model. So it's wild to me that we never went into that TV route. I was gonna say like maybe those special presentations that Disney Plus is doing, that could be a really interesting route. You've got this 50-minute special feature. We just got the Werewolf by Night. I don't know if you got a chance to check that out. Like,
I had a chance to fall asleep during Werewolf by Night.
Oh my
Yes,
God,
I
what's
did.
your problem? What is your
Dude,
problem?
it was so bad. It was so bad.
You are the worst.
It has no business being in my brain as something that happened. It was awful. Sorry, buddy. It was just wow. Just wow. I can't believe
just wow. It was wow.
I can't believe I went to my sister-in-law's on Halloween and I said, let's put on Werewolf by Night because it's Marvel. And then I fell asleep.
What is your problem?
Almost like just so bad. Just
I don't know
wow.
if I can continue this. And I don't know how to continue this. It was so good. What are you talking about? I thought it was awesome. There was some fun tension, some comedy. It was black and white. That was awesome. It was really great. There was gory, like there was a lot of blood. It was pretty great. I don't know.
I didn't see the ending of it, so maybe you like maybe the ending's awesome. I don't know.
The whole thing was awesome. I like the whole thing. But it's kind of I feel like it's got that kind of goofy corniness that like we've been just talking about with like the getting the crew together and stuff like with Dwayne and Henry Cavill and Ed Harris.
I'll try to rewatch
I feel like it's got
it.
fun.
Like for you, I'll try to rewatch it. But
I really loved it. I loved it so much. But and plus we get the Guardians one that's coming out later this year. So I was wondering recently like whether that model would influence them at all. But I don't know that they'd ever be influenced because they just don't like Universal doesn't seem to care about what else is happening out there. And
Universal's also not promoting their streaming service as a premium service. Like, how badly has NBC Universal dropped the ball on Peacock? Like, I feel like HBO was like, here's a premium streaming service, right? Disney, here's a premium streaming service. Our shows are event shows. You're going to talk about these with your coworkers, right?
Yeah.
Paramount Plus is like, here's a premium service. It has basically nothing but new Star Trek stuff, but like these are event Star Trek things. Star Trek is a big deal, right? Like it's got premium shows. NBC comes out with Peacock and it's like, here's 3 ways to watch different versions, different amounts of The Office. And Friends isn't here. Frasier's not here. We did a Saved by the Bell reboot that doesn't feel like Saved by the Bell at all.
I thought it was right. From what I watched it was okay, but I think that got canceled too. But yeah, you're right. Like Peacock, they've actually had some good stuff on there. I mean, look, Jurassic World Dominion went there. They had the Halloween movies. 2 of those went there recently. The Black Phone was on there. So there's been quite a bit of stuff. And if you look at it, they've got a decent catalog like on there. So there's some good stuff, but like, yeah, they just don't promote it that way as if it's like you
It's
need
not
to be here.
exclusive to their app. It's like it's things that have been out before. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like NBC should be, and you know, there's these rumors that the reason why Warner Brothers is just going all crazy now with DC is because they're looking to kind of offload DC to Universal Studios in like 2025 or something. So
Yeah.
all these things that like, you know, oh, Henry Cavill's Superman wasn't a very successful like, you know, franchise and all the Snyder like remnants of the Snyderverse happen to be kind of like, you know, it wasn't important. Well, now we're going to bring back some of these characters. It's like the rumor is that Warner Brothers is just like doing anything and everything that like the fans want and they're not really caring too much about their staying power is because Warner Brothers has full intention of offloading DC entertainment to Universal, which, oh my gosh, like if with the way that everything's been treated lately, Jurassic wise, like I'm kind of afraid for DC to go to Universal. Like I think if you know when you say, "Hey, can it get worse than what Warner Brothers is doing?" Right? If you're one of these people that hates the DCEU, if you're like, "Man, can it get worse?" It's like, yeah, I think it can. I think it can basically be a movie every 3 years that just has nothing but all the Justice League in it, and that's all you get, maybe, right? Like,
Yeah.
so no, man,
Yeah, I don't know.
I just have what to
They
expect.
Universal doesn't do it, but they need to have like their divisions where, you know, Disney is the main company, but they have Marvel that handles their stuff.
Right.
They've got Lucasfilm that handles their stuff. So Pixar, you know, like there's different companies there. Like Jurassic needs Jurassic to handle Jurassic. Like that's what it needs. You know, it needs something of substance there to handle that, and then it needs Fast and Furious people to handle Fast and Furious. It needs all these different things, and they just don't do that, you know.
I mean, what you're pitching is kind of basically like Amblin. You're basically saying Amblin needs to be bigger, right? Like because Amblin is kind
just
of
be
all
bigger.
those. I mean, you know, War of the World. You're looking for Amblin to do kind of what Amblin wasn't designed to do, which you're looking for like Amblin to be like a franchise powerhouse, right? But all right, so let's say Jurassic splits off from Amblin. What is the Jurassic studio? What is it called, man? What do you like? You have Marvel Studios. You have DC Entertainment. What is the Jurassic?
Well, no, it's just DC Studios, right? So then they
yeah,
changed.
okay, yeah, DC
So
Studios. So like,
how about just Jurassic Studios,
Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, and Jurassic
or
Studios.
Jurassic Film? You know, yeah, Jurassic Studios would be great, or you know that would be fine. I just wish that there was like a sole focus from their team to help cultivate this into this franchise that they say doesn't exist or shouldn't have ever existed, and continue out with all of these other stories and maybe special features or TV shows. But I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go because I don't feel like they care what other companies are doing. So I don't know that they're going to, you know, listen and feed off of what the fans want or anything like that. So I don't really know. But let's see here. What else we have? Is there anything else here? Oh yeah,
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that he didn't know that his movie was the end of the Jurassic era.
Yeah, that's the next part here.
Funny.
I thought that was wild and typical. You know, Colin says the epic conclusion of the Jurassic era was a tagline featured prominent, or they said this prominently on the posters. Colin said, "I never knew that this was the ending of the franchise until I saw the marketing." Those guys are brilliant at what they do, but for me, I think it might have been clearer if they had said the end of an era as opposed to all of it, because regardless of the cynical approach, of course they're going to want to make more money, which is what Jurassic World was about. And so, but yeah.
I think a few other things about this article. I think you're catching a guy who is probably a little burned out on Jurassic. You got to think it took him he worked on this one movie for 4 years. Right?
Yeah.
Like through a pandemic, he was a part of the original 2. This is a guy who is clearly burned out. He's been working on this for 10 years now. He probably started working on Jurassic World in 2012, 2013, right? And a guy who's burned out, a guy who is ready to kind of be okay with passing the torch. And I think what you have is this old school director who is the director of the movie and doesn't really know what the other arms are of the branch and maybe doesn't care. Whereas I feel like that's what's great about Kevin Feige is that Kevin Feige not only loves Marvel, but are you shushing me?
No, I'm not. There's a
Or you
bug
got
flying
fly?
in front of
All
my
right.
face.
he not only loves Marvel, but he knows anything and everything that's happening in the Marvel ecosystem. You know, yeah, I don't know. I would like to see someone come in that is so excited about Jurassic that they want the live tour to matter. They want the video games to matter, right? Like, I would like to see someone come in like that. And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I have 15 years film experience. I'm here. You just bring me in, you guys.
Call your boy. Yep. Just do it.
That's right. Call your boy.
But yeah, it's funny that this kind of stuff happens with the mix up with the marketing. But I feel like I've heard there was a story I was going to reference recently. This happened as well. But I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's I don't know. But it's weird, right? To have them say, like, why are they not communicating about that? Why is this? Why did this just get sent out? And then he's just like, wait, what? Aren't we like misleading people? Does it matter? Does it matter that they misled people or no?
School.
Like, does in the end of everything, does it matter that if there's another movie in the theaters in a few years, does it matter that they said it was the end? I don't know.
Well, that's what's interesting, right? Is like because of the marketing, think about the conversations we had. Oh, this is the last one with the Jurassic era characters. That Trevorrow did not intend for that to be the case. Alan Grant could show up in the next movie with Sarah Harding, with Kayla Watts. Like, it clearly sounds like the marketing push for this movie meant nothing. Like he's saying that because he's like, my movie wasn't intended to be the end of the Jurassic era. So whatever.
Well,
I don't know.
I never see. Here's the thing. I never like you asked me what do we see in the future. None of those original characters ever crossed my mind because of the marketing and because I've been twisted in my mind over this past few years.
You've been trained to think that was the end.
That's it. Yeah, right. I've been trained to think that I will never see any of this ever again. So it's a hard road to come back from. But we're trying to consider all possibilities with other people returning once again. We'll see. But I thought it was an interesting article and held some really weird, funny things in there. But I think it's valuable. We get to learn maybe about where they want to go with it, that there are more things to come. He did talk about something like along the lines of, hey, if there was anybody that, wants to do this, come and talk to me and Steven and just pitch an idea, So that could be us right there.
It's like an open casting call. They have no idea what's going on. They're like, shoot me a DM. Slide into my DMs. Just you got an idea? We don't know what to do.
Colin, we got plenty of ideas. I'm constantly pitching ideas on the show or the live streams. So, we got next, I think. But
look, if Universal can potentially afford to buy DC Studios, Universal can afford to go get the Dino Trackers trademark from a defunct Kenner / Hasbro. Just saying, they can afford it. They can get all those characters.
Yeah. But what do you say we move on to our next portion here and talk about the future of collecting post Jurassic World Dominion? So this is an interesting one I feel like to talk about because I've been feeling something, and you brought up a tweet from Victoria, right? Who kind of talked about like feeling. I forget what the exact tweet is. I probably should have brought it up, but feeling kind of tired.
It sounds like she's exhausted. She's tired, right?
I've felt that way a lot recently too, because like I'll go to the store and I'll be like, I'll be excited to check it out, and then it's like, it's just like stuff that I'm not really interested in. There's been so many issues with packaging and weird things like that recently where things are getting banged up. Nobody seems to care at Mattel. They're sending out exclusives in with no protection in these boxes. So your exclusive items are getting messed up. I know Collect Jurassic had a big issue with that, where the two the outhouse playset or whatever was like all banged up. And it's like, how do you refund or trade in these exclusive items? Like, why are we not treating these with a little bit more care? And personally, I've been so drained by the Hammond collection in a way. Like, I really dig the Hammond collection, but at the same time, I'm just very confused as to what I'm supposed to be doing, like, with the Hammond collection, because then we're getting also like regular humans that are not Hammond collection, but the Hammond collection ones and the regular ones are basically the same thing. There's really not much difference between the two. And I don't feel like we're really seeing like overall spectacular paint jobs or anything vastly different with the Hammond collection that we aren't really getting on the main lines. That being said, the Hammond collection T-Rex is unparalleled compared to the other ones, right? Like, I said that recently. I thought that the Bite and Fight was like great, and then I looked at my collection. I was like, I don't even remember which one the Bite and Fight is, and these all look like garbage compared to the Hammond collection T-Rex. So there are some standouts, I think, but at the same time, I'm like confused, like, because now we're getting like things in the future that are like not even film related. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, where are we going? So I feel like I'm pretty burnt out as well with collecting and trying to keep up with everything. And we're going to be getting Dino Tracker, I guess, toys. That's the new toy line for Mattel coming up in end of this year, 2023. I think actually somebody started spotting some in Target already. And I don't really, I hate the packaging on those. I think they look pretty ugly. And there's some really strange designs in that line. So it's really weird, I feel like, right now to try to collect. There's tons of stuff out there. Don't get me wrong. Target is stocked. Walmart's been doing pretty good as well. But it's weird. I don't know. I'm feeling odd about this whole thing. And I think a lot of it stems from the Hammond collection and my confusion over, like, what are we doing here? Like, why do we have exclusive San Diego Comic-Con items that are, like, not Hammond collection, but then some are, and it's like I'm just very confused at the whole thing at this point.
See, your burnout comes from confusion. Mine comes from just an overabundance. And like before I can even, I feel like before one line has even like hit the shelves, they've already announced like two lines later, right? And so, all right, so let's talk about like. Let's talk about, I mean, like, if you're not watching the video, you should go check it out. But, like, can I get over there? Like, that's like 3 boxes deep of just dinosaur figures, like, just loose in boxes. And so, I know I've been talking about it for months, but, like, really, the purge is coming. Because I do want to make room for, in the beginning of Mattel, it was like, oh my gosh, I have the ability to relive Kenner, right? But we are easily at like 6 or 7 times the size of what Kenner's lines were, right? And again, the way I like to collect, I do like to have multiple Dilophosaurs. I do like to have multiple Parasaurolophus. But like, I mean, like the Hammond collection, all right? Clearly, in a 1-to-1 with, let's say, the Dilophosaurus, okay, flip them around. This is the Hammond collection Dilophosaurus. I don't know how you can make an argument to buy any more baseline Dilophosaurs, right? Like, I think this is as good this is easily as good as the electronic Dilophosaurus from Kenner, minus the audio. It doesn't have the audio, but like, sculpt wise, look wise, I think you brought up that the size is wrong, and I would agree with that. If we're sticking to the movie, this needs to be about half the size, which is why I don't think we'll ever get like I mean, I'd be surprised if we get really good Hammond collection compies, or Microceratops or whatever that was in Dominion. But like hands down, this is clearly the winning Dilophosaurus for me. So like I kind of want to hunt out a few, and then get rid of some of the older baseline Dilophosaurs that like I just didn't like their Dilophosaurs really at all because the frill was like on it, and even if you ripped off the frill, you had these like hinges like sticking off. Like I hated it so much. But every once in a while, the baseline comes out with a winner. Oh, it's over there. I don't want to go off camera to get it, but like there was that small green one that came out that had like the red jaw at the bottom. It was like a Walmart exclusive.
Not sure.
I mean, I don't really know, but like I really love that.
Yeah, that's
figure.
the thing. At this point, there's so many things that I can't even begin to remember them all. At this point now, it's like out of control. Out of control. I have things. Oh, I didn't even open that thing. I didn't even know I had it. I'm just looking at it now. The Ampulosaurus. I had no clue I even owned that. Why haven't I opened that?
Is that the red one?
Yeah, kind of like
the red sauropod.
Red.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one.
That thing's great. There are really great stuff in the main line. But when the Hammond collection is supposed to be the collector's line, why are there these little? Why are we like, settling on a Dilophosaur that's just a little too big, or or whatever? Why are we?
Let's take off the frill. Like, you're right. This guy's paint job isn't all that amazing. He's 2 colors on his skin and barely faded from like top green to like bottom white. Like it's barely faded, at least on this one that I have. I mean, he's got the nice little red ring around like the eyes, which is kind of cool. And his gums and his teeth are different colors, which is nice. But where I start losing it with Hammond collection is like the Concavinator, which I don't understand that at all. That's not even a Hammond dinosaur in the least. In fact, I think when they're talking about the dinosaur count in Jurassic Park, I think there was like always one missing one, and Dominion answers what that one missing one was, which was the one that Maisie's holding as young Maisie. Was that Microceratops or Microceretus or something?
Yeah.
Like, she's clearly holding that missing species from the dinosaur count in Jurassic Park. So we know that Concavinator was never on Nublar, at least. It was only in a movie as like a museum piece, which then begs the question. It's like, okay, so were the museum pieces like replicas of what Hammond and Lockwood had created, or were they inspirations for what they wanted to do because they were like dinosaur fans? I just like,
to me, this looks great, but it doesn't look better enough than what we already got. Like, this Concavinator looks great, but like I just feel like the one that we already have also looks pretty good too. Yes, there's a bit different. There's like some more subtle things going on in this one, but I'm like, is the difference big enough for me to say, here's more money, Mattel? Here I'm going to keep collecting. Here I'm going to keep adding things and buying more junk. Like, I just don't know that it's worth it to me anymore. Like, to keep diving in and duplicating like everything that I already have for something a tad maybe better. I'm not even that sure, Of
the original 3 movies, well, let's not even do the original 3. As far as I'm concerned, if it was on screen as like a living, breathing dinosaur, I think justifies a Hammond collection figure. So what are they taking away? What have they not produced yet to give you Concavinator? Right? I feel like...
Well, yeah, I mean, what we've gotten pretty much everything from Jurassic Park, right? Maybe they could do another Parasaurolophus or something that, you see them out in the distance. A green one.
Yeah, you'll never get the green one. You'll never get the green one.
Why not, though? We're getting concept art, we're getting...
Okay, and that's another
things,
thing we
like,
can talk about. We're getting a Pteranodon, which they've renamed Geosternbergia, which is like, okay. But this is a beautiful animal. This is based off the concept art from like the male version of this creature. Like this is a beautiful animal, but it wasn't on screen. The one that was on screen is also beautiful and deserves a Hammond collection
yeah.
version. So I'm confused as to like why does this one exist? You
I
know?
also don't think this one looks all that great. It looks okay. I actually didn't pre-order it. I kind of I
Wow.
lost, dude. I lost all interest in this last Beyond the Gates because I didn't care, and I'm burnt out on it or what? I don't know, but like I saw this and I was like, I'm never a big Pteranodon style, flying dinosaur style collector. I think I
Okay.
have some, but I've never been hugely into them. I think they're awkward and weird to set up on shelves. They never really sit well or whatever. Like this pose here, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It doesn't look like the way I want it to look. Plus,
Yeah,
this thing is
fair.
like
That's
too
fair.
much orange on this. Too much single color tones here. So I didn't get that one. I also did not pre-order the other one that came out.
The Ankylosaur?
The Ankylosaur from JP3. I'm like, why do I care? I don't care. I don't necessarily care about the JP3 Ankylosaur. That this basically looks like all the other Ankylosaurs that I have.
I mean, I care about this Ankylosaur because I think the JP3 Ankylosaur is the best looking one of the batch. Like when I'm playing Evolution, I'm picking the JP3 version of the Ankylosaur, right? I think there's a JP3 version of it in there, or there's a way to get it as a skin. Yeah, it's like the 2001 skin or something. Like that's the version that I'm doing. So, but for me, like I mean, we've had this discussion on this podcast, dude. I went nuts for the Ankylosaur figures, but I'm gonna get a few of these, and I'm gonna have to get rid of some. Like I can't have a dozen Ankylosaurs.
Yeah, I
Like,
was just looking. I don't even have any out on my shelf right now. So why would I get another one?
right. Oh, so the Hammond collection really has burned you. I shouldn't say burned you. It's just not been your thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I really dig it, but I also just want it to be better. I think, and I want more from it. I don't know. This one looks fine. I do like the coloring on like the spikes that are coming off the side there.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I think that
Yeah.
looks great if it actually looks like that. But like also, why does that look so great? But then the nails or claws aren't painted on like. Why are we
Oh,
getting
dude.
unpainted claws on the Hammond collection? That's just
Right.
boggling my mind. Like I'm looking back here, Triceratops not painted. Baryonyx is, T-Rex is. Parasaurolophus not on the hands, at least. Yeah, not on the
Right.
hands. So like, why is this happening? I still don't understand. Is this supposed to be
Right. This is
for collectors
the
or
premium.
no?
Yeah.
Is it premium or no? Like, tell me, because I want to be able to collect it and then not have to be like, oh well, hey, in another year there's one where everything's painted nicely. I'm like,
The
we're just
premier Hammond
Yeah.
collection. Hammond
we're
collection plus.
we're paying for posability right now, and I don't know that I care enough for that. You know, like I don't need a separate knee joint on a human figure. That's the only thing that's different on
Right.
these humans. Like there's nothing different. So I'm like, why are we getting like a really cool boxed Sarah Harding that's just mainline Sarah Harding? Like why is it not Hammond collection? Why is Roland Tembo just a regular Roland Tembo, not Hammond collection? I don't know. I'm frustrated by it.
I think you'll get Hammond collection of those characters. I think about those two that you just mentioned. They're both Lost World characters that the Lost World does have a major anniversary coming up in a couple of years, right? Like
We
they obviously
literally just passed the 25th anniversary. What else could we?
Oh, well, then never mind. Because that's ridiculous. I'm not waiting another 5 years. They will not wait 5 more years to bring out those characters in Hammond collection. So
I mean,
you're right. It should have been
this is the Hammond Collection Ray Arnold, which is no different than any of the other. Like, it's not. It still doesn't look like Samuel L. Jackson. Like,
well, in all fairness, Samuel L. Jackson doesn't look like Samuel L. Jackson in that movie, but
he does. Yeah, he does. Kind of, look like. Nobody ever knows that he's in that movie. It's like it's always a surprise to people.
I just think like it's time for an Ajay. It's time for a Dieter. It's time for Jeep driver in pink shirt guy, in the Hammond Collection. Like it's
I would love that.
It's kind of time, and they have Baryonyx. Baryonyx was like the first one introduced. Where's Carnotaurus? Right, we're getting Concavenator. Where's Carnotaurus? Like that could be. I mean, would it be too small? Like, is it too weird of a dinosaur size? Like because it's bigger than Parasaurolophus and Baryonyx, but it's smaller than T-Rex. So like because it doesn't fit in a skew, do we not even get that figure? Like,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's weird what they're doing.
Also, another thing that's kind of bumming me out recently is the addition of like hey, here's a raptor for everything that you buy. You buy like a truck and there's a raptor with it. You buy a human, there's a raptor with it. You're like, what? Like that Ian Malcolm figure came with a green raptor, I guess, and it's just like, what? Why did you put this in there? That let's see, I think Collect Jurassic. I have his what is this Twitter right here? That new truck. There's a new
raptor.
A new raptor. But it comes. Was it like glowing? Here's a picture of here. I think.
Yeah. Why?
What? I don't need it. Also, nothing's painted on those nails. Those claws.
Dude, it has like, yeah.
It's another version. Heart.
Another version of
looks
the
like
Explorer,
ET.
though. Like.
Yeah. Another Explorer. Sure, this is pretty great. I'm sure we've pitched this idea many times about a crushable thing, and that looks cool. That's really cool. I'm like almost just too mad to buy it though, because it just comes like it's just at this point they're just throwing things in to make you pay more money, and it's like another thing that's kind of wearing down on me. It's like that Ellie Sattler figure that came out recently. It's like you can't buy that unless you buy $120 of other dinosaurs, and it's like, yeah, but I already have those. Well, it doesn't matter.
That was, that was messed up. That was definitely targeted towards double dip. That was targeted towards people like us. Like, again, I've said it on here. I bought that because I hadn't had that T-Rex yet, which I didn't really. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't have a Giganotosaurus at all. Which, by the way, the Giganotosaurus we were saying that's one of the worst figures to ever come out of Mattel.
It is.
It doesn't look.
It's not good. Yeah.
It doesn't look anything like the one in the movie. It's got like a lackluster paint job. It's smaller than a T-Rex. Like, where's the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus? Where's the Hammond Collection Giganotosaurus? Man, you give me a Hammond Collection Giganotosaurus, woo, buddy. If it's got the same love that the T-Rex has,
yeah, I don't know why this thing looks so bad, but it doesn't represent what I saw in that movie at all. The coloring and everything. I just wish this one was better. So maybe one day we'll get that in a Hammond Collection or something. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's been so many things that have frustrated me recently. What was it? What was the last thing I brought up? I forget.
Let's.
Oh yeah, everything just being included in. Like, I just want to buy the vehicle. Let me buy the vehicle, please. Like without the Raptor, because like the problem is I'm gonna take that Raptor and just put it in a bin with all the other dinosaurs that I've just discarded at this point, and it's fine because my kids will play with them, but like it's just a waste. Like give us what we want instead of random other things attached.
But are you forgetting that we've like kind of. We've patted Mattel on the back for figuring out how to sell humans, which is those 2-packs. Because if you remember, like, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the humans ended up just being, like, shelf warmers,
Yeah.
And in Canada at the time when I was there, they were like $13 shelf warmers, you know? So they figured out how to sell humans more, I guess, which is to put a dinosaur in with it. And honestly, I think that Owen pack is probably the best one of the 2-packs because it is the only way to get a Dominion style Parasaurolophus. And that's the last thing I will say nice about the Dominion style Parasaurolophus, but like it's true. It's the only way. It's the only way to get that. Yeah. If you like that dinosaur, you have to get an Owen, which is also a one-off Owen. It's not like Owen in the blue shirt, which we all have a million of. So like that 2-pack is actually really cool and really special.
I think when they do it right, it's pretty great. Yeah. Like Owen, like Grant and that Dimetrodon's a really cool one. This Maisie one that comes with Beta and Elytrosaurus, like that's pretty cool. You know, so I do appreciate when they pack it in with something good. Like I said before, you did get Ian Malcolm with some generic green raptor. Didn't make any sense. I wish they would have just put something in that made sense, you know, like, so that it is frustrating. But in this case, it just feels like they're throwing things in to make you pay more money. That's all.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, this one here, the
Jurassic Park 3 collection. Female raptor and Alan Grant. Like, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks good. That looks good. I mean, I guess that looks like the JP3 raptor.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
I don't know. It looks okay. I guess that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time. But I think things will be interesting though, more so when JP30 starts happening, right? Like when we actually have maybe some new things coming our way. Actually, maybe I should show that real quick since we're.
What could possibly be new that JP25 didn't give us?
Well, like here's this thing here. We Tim just showed this off for Collect Jurassic here. The Dr. Ellie Sattler Risky Rescue pack again with a raptor. So that's what I mean. Like why? Like I know she encounters a raptor, but why is it the Jeep from a different scene and then also a raptor? So
what else could go? What else could go with that? And like honestly, I don't know. Like this is that a Hammond collection? Or is that a Hammond style Ellie, or is that a baseline Ellie?
It's just gonna be a baseline Ellie.
A baseline Ellie. Okay.
So that's why I'm like, why we get too many.
I'm to the
too many things.
I'm to the point now with like the cars. Like, I wouldn't mind Hammond collection vehicles, right? And here's my pitch, my idea for the Hammond collection vehicles, where it's like, okay, let's use the red Jeep. The Hammond collection Jeep doesn't come with a number on it. It comes with a pack of stickers for you to put one of like, it comes with like stickers that are like, you get 2 1s, 2 2s, all the way through 9 and 0. Or like, let's say they give you like 10 numbers to choose from, and so, and then like, every Jeep comes with the brown toolboxes. Every Jeep comes with the hood. Every Jeep just comes as a full stop Jeep. The premium Hammond collection Jeep with decals of numbers and maybe some mud, maybe the Jurassic Park logo stickers. Maybe there's a couple variants. Maybe there's a clean one. Maybe there's a dirty scraped one. Maybe there's one covered with mud. I just think like a Hammond collection Jeep Wrangler where I can mod it and choose my pieces, similar to like whenever I feel like now when you buy like a premium, like Lego did this with the DeLorean. When you buy a Lego DeLorean, whether it's this new one that's recent this year or the one from like 10 years back, you got enough pieces to make one of 3 DeLoreans. You could do all 3 DeLoreans if you wanted to.
I made the Back to the Future 3 one. It's sitting right there on my shelf because I was like, it's got everything. It's got all the different pieces from different movies that I like. So I'm like, let's include that. Plus it's got those red rims. I like that.
All right, agree to disagree. 2's my favorite one. Mr. Fusion and the flight
2 is
converter.
great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
But I'm just saying, like, let's do a Hammond collection Jeep where it's got all the pieces, and you can justify buying a bunch of them because you're going to do a fleet and you've got the stickers to make multiple numbers that we didn't see in the movie per se. Why does every number have to be the number we saw in the movie? Like this one, we know there's at least 10 Jeeps.
I think maybe I think I saw Tom Jurassic commenting on this Explorer being number 4, and I think that we already got number 4, didn't we?
Right.
Not the number. So like, why just give us a different one? Give us a different number. So it's tough. I don't know.
I don't want to complain about Mattel too much. We just did the Christmas, the holiday gift guide. We were gushing on them. They've done a great job. Like the line is superior to any line I think we've had in the past when it comes to quantity. I would just like to see. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. You know?
No, I think we love a lot of aspects of what Mattel does. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, we're complaining a little bit about certain aspects, but I think there is room for growth still, and there's room to say like, hey, as collectors, we don't like these things. You know, like we're the ones supporting these lines, and like you keep throwing stuff at us because we're collectors and because you just know that we're going to buy these things. So it feels like it's like taking advantage of you a little bit, right?
But is the Hammond collection recognizing that you're at your end? And what I mean by that is, has Mattel come to the realization that they have overflooded the market, right? And so for you and me, all right, we've got Hammond collection Tyrannosaurs. Are you going to buy another baseline Tyrannosaur? What would it take for you to buy another baseline Tyrannosaur? You're going to have to put it with some vehicle that you want, you know?
I know. That's the problem is like, you know, the Explorer that came with a T-Rex and another set came with different things. So it's like, yeah, that's the only way that I'm going to get another T-Rex or, you know, whatever. But like, I've really tried not to buy T-Rexes in general because I don't really care for them. Like these toy ones. I don't know.
I'm telling you, the Hammond when they finally release that trailer, it's not coming with a Hammond collection Tyrannosaur. It's coming with 2 of the smaller that came with like the Explorer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna just come with those again. So they're gonna flood me with 2 more Tyrannosaurs. Like I know that's happening at some point in time, right?
God. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
And then they'll do Hammond collection Buck and Doe T-Rexes.
I'd love that.
You know, like that'd be amazing, right?
Yeah.
But once I have those, I feel like I'm kind of done with Tyrannosaurs. Like
I already have 2 Hammond collection T-Rexes. One's like the darker, rainy version. One's like the regular one. I think they both look great, but like I don't have enough room at this point. I've completely. I have to put things on this box now. I'm running out of space there.
I mean, I don't know where else to put things. They don't care about how much room you have. They care about how much money you have. So
I'm gonna start telling them I don't have any more because I have been slowing down. I have to say, like I have not tried to get everything. You know, I really haven't attempted to do that even since the start. But I feel like where in previous years it would have been like 1 or 2 items that a handful of items that I missed out on. Now it feels like I'm only picking up 1 or 2 items, you know, like it's the opposite now. So I feel like I got through the Dominion wave. I got a lot of Dominion stuff, but even then I started buying stuff. I was like, all right, what am I doing? Like, I don't need to get all of these things right now. So like, I don't need to keep getting all these, like those little racer things, you know, like I was like those click trackers or whatever. I was like, I got 1 or 2 of them. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't need to get all these. I don't know.
I have the intent when it comes to dinosaurs. I look at it in the store and I go, do I have intentions or the desire to want to buy multiples of these? And because I want like the herd. And so when I look at it and it's like, realistically, this is a $15 dinosaur. Is this a dinosaur that I'm going to want to spend $60 on? Because that's what I want to do. That's how big I want my collection of dinosaurs. That's actually a pretty good way for me to be like, no, like not not this one. But like I made a
Mhm.
mistake. Like I was at Kohl's and they had the Mega Raptor, the new aquatic one, and the Iguanodon. And realistically, the only one that I want multiples of is the Iguanodon. So why I broke my rule that one time, and I kind of regret it because I'm just like, they're cool figures. Don't get me wrong. But
It's okay. It's fine looking. It just looks kind of plain to me. Like it kind of looks like that juvenile Parasaurolophus from the Roland set. It's like it's fine. It's just kind of
what,
plain.
the Iguanodon or the Mega
Yeah.
Raptor?
The Iguanodon. It's just like a little plain,
I
right?
mean, it was plain in Dominion. It was a
I know.
It was a
but,
Jurassic Park style dinosaur. It was just
but it's like
basic brown green.
I don't want to buy it when I feel like they didn't paint it all the way or something, you know? Like I feel like I want a fully painted dinosaur. I don't know. The Mega Raptor is interesting. Like I passed on it, but I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I'm like I want more. I think paint on it. It's kind of weird. I don't know. That's my feeling towards pretty much everything right now. It's like I don't know. Could use something here. It's a little strange looking. I don't know why it is the way it is. Some of them in the future here, I guess, with these Dino Tracker ones, are going to be coming with like big headgears and things, and I don't know. I don't know.
The Mega Raptor reminds me of when I got my first, or those two. I got those two like really well known Chaos Effect ones. The Mega Raptor looks cartoony to me, and like that's how I felt when I got Chaos Effect stuff. I was like, this doesn't fit, but it says Jurassic Park, so I guess I have to buy it as a fan.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't savvy enough to know that there was a canceled cartoon or anything, you know, back in that day. But like, that's what some of the dinosaurs feel like they belong in Jurassic Park. Some of the dinosaurs feel like they belong in a Mattel dinosaur line. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Here. So I brought up Collect Jurassic's Click Trackers. I almost said Dino Trackers website here.
I brought up Collect Jurassic's clickbait. That's what you were going to say. Not calling this stuff clickbait. I literally thought that's what you were about to say.
But there's a bunch of pictures here and things that I'm like, you know, like these ones, whatever. Nothing. I mean, I'm like, I can pass on all those.
I think that yellow one is cool, but like I would only get it if I ran across. I would only get that if I ran across like 4 of them, and happened to have like $40 to drop on 4 of them.
But like again, it's just like very plain looking. I don't know. I'm not really into that one. Maybe the only thing would be the Brachiosaur baby, but like I already have a green one and 2 gray ones. Right. Do I need another one? These ones, okay. I mean, you know, this whatever this one is, Herrerasaurus.
No.
I kind of dig that the Herrerasaurus has been updated, but I'm not sure I care for it. These ones, no, don't need those. So this is just my mindset recently. Is like I don't need these things. Again, these ones. Give or take, I don't really need any of these first 3. Maybe the Diabloceratops. That would be the only thought. Maybe I would get that one. So for me, I don't need any of these.
Nope.
Don't need those.
I actually was
looking.
Stego, you know, when I was coming up with my $100 list or whatever, I was actually like the green thing with the red fin on its head. I was like, actually, I saw that one online. I was like, oh, you know what? I was like, I did want a second one. Like, and what I was saying to you, like, and I'll say this on the podcast, Big Bad Toy Store, they might charge an extra $1 or $2, but I feel like they're almost like the de facto go-to for Jurassic World because their inventory on these things is like still, you can go back probably a few lines and still get some of the bigger dinosaurs that maybe you missed out on, and they're not charging like a ton extra. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, a couple extra dollars, I feel like that's fair for being like the only place that has them, you know?
Sure.
Like I think this truck you're showing, this Jurassic World style truck, I think that's awesome.
Search and smash truck. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
Really surprised that this didn't come with like a full-size Indominus like back in 2017 or whatever when they got the line, you know? But
At least it looks like the human's different. It's not just a repackaged human
But
that we
like it comes
got
with the
so other
Trossoraptors.
times. Yeah, it's an interesting looking one too.
It comes with the
Um,
Trossoraptors. Like those weren't even on Nublar. Like
but I don't think that's
it's
yeah. I don't know that that's what they're going for. They've got a Jurassic World logo on this truck, but like yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's
dude,
just
it's clearly that's clearly meant to be like a Jurassic World containment truck,
maybe they had some
right?
leftover stock that they had to just ship over. They're like, we got some good vehicles. Let's just take those ones from Nublar that got burned up in the garage.
Maybe
30th anniversary stuff, real feel dinosaur, large dinosaur coming our way.
another Mosasaurus. You think?
I don't know. What if it's like a Red Rex? That'd be kind of cool.
Brother, if we get a Kenner inspired line, oh boy.
Yeah, see, that would be
What would you
another.
even do? What would you even do with a Kenner inspired line at this point? Like
That would
most of the
be
Kenner dinosaurs looked pretty good, if not slightly worse than some of the Mattel Hammond collection stuff. I mean,
if we got
I don't
Kenner
know.
stuff, they would just stay in the box like that, or that's what it would do for me because like I have down here, I've got some Ghostbusters figures from Kenner, and they're just in the package. They're new, but they're in the package.
Who produced those though? Was that Hasbro?
I think it was Hasbro. But it
There you
has
go. I
like a nice
mean,
little Kenner badge on them and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I
yeah.
have I have the originals out, being played with, but I'll keep those in a box. I actually, yeah, I even have like the Ghostbusters like vehicle, the Ecto one, and I didn't even open that. It's just sitting on my desk.
So
Um,
outside of oh no, go ahead.
no, that's it. That's all I got.
I mean, outside of let's we're talking about collecting. Let's maybe move away from Mattel. Is there anything outside of Mattel that you can think of that like you want to get? Like,
I mean, I'm still into Funko and stuff like that. So, but the
okay,
thing is, like, I got a lot of Jurassic Park ones. I got a lot of Dominion ones. Not everything, but if they wanted to, I would continue to go for those. Um, Lego, maybe it depends. I'm always iffy on Lego if they ever have anything good. I have that T-Rex breakout. I have never put it together. Um, what else though? I don't know. I don't know what else there would be that I would need to collect.
I mean,
I
I know like I've been passing up on. This is very like to finish a collection. I should do it, but like I haven't ordered the Mondo Dominion vinyl yet. Like
mhm.
I didn't like that score, so I was just like, okay, like
Oh, the score's so good. It is
if I
good.
bought it, it would literally just be to complete a set, which I
Yeah.
is fine. That's very how I am. But then I'm like, or I could just save $40. Like that's where I'm at. And so,
Yeah, yeah.
Brad, we asked for it. We said
Well,
open the floodgates on collecting, and they did.
they
And
have. Yeah,
here we
they've
are,
never
3 years
stopped. They've
later.
never stopped. They have produced some really great stuff. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of really cool stuff, and I hope they do continue to do that. But with little stray into different directions or little do things a little bit differently here and there. Um,
I
I don't know.
I wish they would explore the middle ground of toys and collectibles. Like Prime One or Prime something does like those crazy nice
Yeah,
$900 like premium formats, right? And then you have Mattel doing the toys. Like I get it. Chronicle kind of was awful. In fact, I'm getting ready to sell some stuff, and I think the Chronicle stuff, I think my breakout Rex from Chronicle is going to be on that list of things to go. But like, I was really excited for six scale characters from
mhm,
Chronicle because Hot Toys
yeah,
wasn't doing it right, and like why not give Hot Toys the license? There's clearly some money to be had. Like when you think like, okay, Hot Toys, they do a lot of Marvel, they do a lot of Star Wars, right? It's the Star Wars things that I have are Hot Toys because I think it's like I would rather spend money on a nice looking Mandalorian and not like a 6-inch like Mandalorian that's got kind of toy issues, right?
Yeah.
I think I've got a Kylo Ren that's a hot toy. I might have one or two other Star Wars characters, but I've got a ton of Marvel and a ton of DC. But like Hot Toys also has an alien from Aliens. They have a Jake Sully from Avatar. They have a couple Captain Jack Sparrows. They have an Indiana Jones. They have there was one other one that I was like wanted to mention, but like they do have these one-offs from like quote less popular franchises.
Yeah.
And the aftermarket prices on all those are like huge. So like clearly there's a market for people that don't necessarily want just superheroes, right? So like what does it cost Universal to license that out and let Hot Toys do a small run of Raptors and Alan Grants? Like I don't need a Hot Toys expanded Jurassic universe, but
give us
notable...
a Jeff Goldblum that looks like Jeff Goldblum. You know, like that's what
you nailed it right there, man. A Jeff Goldblum,
because nothing ever has come close. I think that might be interesting. Yeah, if we ever did get into that realm, because like if we're finding that these things aren't really satisfying that itch, like we might have to step it up to a different level and get some like save it so we're not buying all of this other stuff and maybe like get one or two like me with these I think they're Hot Toys, right? Those Anakin and Ahsokas that I have up here. Like
yes. Yeah,
like they're fantastic. They're awesome. But yeah, I have slowed down on Black Series a little bit. I still get some every now and then, but slowed down on those. But I will say that Indiana Jones is going to be coming out again. So I've already pre-ordered a handful of Indiana Jones 6-inch scale figures. They're kind of like Black Series of Indiana Jones.
Really?
So yeah, so those are out. They're not out, but they're up for pre-order and stuff like that. And then they're going to be doing all of Raiders, so you're going to get all of those figures. Hopefully, if the line does well, maybe you get all of Temple, Last Crusade, Crystal Skull. Like that would be amazing if we ever did. So I feel like right now I'm like, there's a lot of other things that I am also interested in, So I don't know. I might be focusing on that kind of collecting as well. But I think the easiest thing is like just Funko Pops. They're pretty easy. I like those. They give me nice variation. They're nothing too crazy. Obviously, they're pretty cheap. But, you can find them at Target. They're nice. They're fun. I just pre-ordered, I think I did, a Disney World Mickey with the Tower of Terror, like the full building.
That's
pretty cool. They come. They've got a few like really cool ones for.
I'll tell you the ultimate way to just kind of curb your collecting mentality is to become an adult and finance something that's really expensive. Like I had to. My wife drives a 98 Ford Explorer and I drive a 2006 Jetta. Like my wife is due for a car. Like just due.
Yeah,
I can't have her driving around anymore in a 98 Ford Explorer. So I had to do a very adult thing and I had to finance the vehicle. Now let me tell you, that is the only thing that's on my mind. Oh my God, what if I can't afford my payment at the end of the month? So I guess I'll conclude my thoughts on collecting with that is just be an adult and have to buy lame things and spend money. Well, the car's not lame. The payment is. The payment's lame.
Yeah, car's cool. Payment's lame, but you got to do it. You got to get out there and make the money and then pay it off and maybe get some toys on the side. Maybe.
So Mattel, don't do a Hammond Collection Lost World T-Rex for 6 more years.
Well, all right. I guess that's a good place to end it then. Any final thoughts before we head out of here on this mini wire, I guess?
God bless Henry Cavill. God bless Dwayne Johnson.
Yes, thank you guys. We really appreciate what you've done, bringing this world back to us. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
I still got to see the movie.
It's not bad, man. Like, it's the ratings for it are all over the place.
Yeah.
It is a fun. It's a fun middle of the road superhero flick.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get a chance to go see it in theaters. Hopefully, it comes to HBO Max at some point. That's a whole mess. Who knows?
Oh,
but
disaster, right?
Yeah, but I did get tickets to Black Panther the other day, so excited to see that coming up soon. Look at you. You don't have any information on any of these movies. So
no, I'm so excited. I have no idea.
We can talk about
happens.
Movies, that's a good thing.
Thor Love and Thunder was the first one that I just had no idea of what was going to happen. And that movie, I enjoyed it.
It was the
and
first
then I
one.
walked away from it and was like I enjoyed it in the moment. And then the more I thought about Love and Thunder, I was like, did that need to be the way it was?
No, it needed to be better than it was. I watched it twice. I watched it twice because I was like, let me see if a second time will help. It didn't. It needed to be this or that, not both.
I want to keep submitting, or not submitting. I keep wanting to support the 3D, like the stereoscopic 3D industry, because I mean, I have my 3D TV back here, right? Like, I would love to have supported my friends and gone and bought the disc, but I imported the last 3 movies I worked on. I had to import them from Japan, and they were like $90 a piece. Now,
you got a card.
Thor Love and Thunder, $90. Disney Plus. Disney Plus. So
yeah, stick to Disney Plus there. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And
yeah, man, thanks for having me.
I think we're gonna talk again, maybe in January. We'll see. That should be the timeline, hopefully.
Well, all right. If I don't talk to you before that, dude, have a good holiday.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Enjoy your festivities. And I'll talk to you next time,
and
man.
My list of dinosaur toys that I put on my list. So
let's start an eBay page, you and me.
Just get rid of all these extra things that we have.
Let's talk about that off air. Let's talk about that off air.
Thank you everybody for watching. Stay safe out there and enjoy. Thanks.
Have a good one.